Hey guys, today for language, what we have been working on is looking at prefixes, root words, and suffixes. With your spelling that you guys had this week, you were given your first initial words you were given were 10 root words. A root word is going to be just that base word, what the main part of the word is. It could stand alone and be its own word, and it has its very own meaning. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to pull out our activity notebooks, and on page 45, we are going to be looking at suffixes. And on page 45, I apologize. We're going to be looking at prefixes, and we're going to look at two prefixes specifically. And the two prefixes we're going to look at are un, un, and non, non. These are going to be small chunks of a word that we can put onto a bigger word to change its meaning completely. So on the next few slides on your guys' week at a glance, I put a graphic organizer that tells you a little bit more about prefixes and gives you some common prefixes that you might see. But today we're going to focus on just un and non. Well, the really cool thing about adding un to the beginning of a word or adding non to it is they both change the word to mean the opposite of what the word originally meant. So we're going to look at a few examples of this given, and then we're going to see some other words and plug them into sentences. The big piece here I want to remind all of you is the first thing to do when you see a prefix on a word, if you don't know what the word means, identify the root word, identify the word that can stand alone. Take off the prefix and see if you can figure out the meaning of the word by itself. And then if we can know the meaning of un and non mean not, it's going to help you know that that word is the opposite. So some examples, if you guys look at the first few on that page, we have unable, and you guys can see it in yours, but I'll show you in mine as well. We have unable. Well, the root word is able. If we took off that prefix with able, if someone is able to do something, they can do it, and they usually can do it well. Unable, when you put that un, that new syllable on the front, it turns it into the opposite. So if someone is able to do something and they can do it, unable means they cannot do something. We see the same thing with unnecessary, our next word there. If something is necessary, it is needed. If you throw that on the beginning and you make the word unnecessary, it is not needed. You see other examples with uneven. The root word of uneven is even. Something is even, it's steady, it's the same. If it's uneven, it's not the same. It's going to be unlevel or not the same amount. And then the last one we have up in the examples is unsafe. And unsafe, if you're safe, you're doing something carefully and cautiously. Unsafe would be the opposite. So you're no longer being safe. The other words on that page that are given to us, and you have to start to identify the meaning a little bit, are unnecessary, unsafe, which we just went over, unsure, or unwell. So if you want to first identify the root word. Unnecessary, the root word is necessary. We have that one up there. Unsafe, the root word is safe. We have that one up there. Then we have unsure and unwell. If something's sure, like if you're sure, you know, you feel good about it. If you're unsure, then you probably don't know. Same thing with well. Their next word is unwell. So well means like something's good. If something's unwell, it's not so good. And oftentimes we're referring to how someone feels or if someone's sick. The directions then is you're going to take those 4 words and fill in the blank. And then there's going to be one word left over, and you're going to write a sentence using that same word. The next page, when you look at it, page 46, is going to be root words and prefixes again. But this time, our prefix is the word non. Is going to be the prefix we are going to be working with. If you put non on the beginning of a word, it also changes it to be the opposite meaning. Now, the reason we have 2 prefixes that are going to change the opposite meaning is some words just don't work with them. For example, they give us non-living. Well, non-living means it's not living, but we wouldn't say unliving. We say non-living. So some of them just make more sense on others, so we can test them out and see if it sounds right even as we go to start to use these in our own practice. So our words are non-living, non-absorbent. If something's absorbent, like the towels you use to get out of the bathtub, if it gets all the water off you and it soaks it all up really good, it's absorbent. Something that's non-absorbent is not going to get all that water up. So if I try and wipe up a mess with a shoe, it's non-absorbent. It's not going to get that water up. But if I try and wipe it up with a towel, it's absorbent. It'll get that water up. We have nonverbal. This one tricked a lot of people when we did it in the classroom. Verbal means able to talk about it, and you're using your voice and words to help you figure something out. Nonverbal means you're doing it without words, without your voice. So it's important one to start to see. You might to kind of look at someone if you're like, yep, we got this, but you don't say anything. You're just like, it's that nonverbal signal. Voice wasn't needed to do it, but you're getting the point still. And our last one on there was non-dairy. Dairy has anything to do with lactose or milk. And if something's non-dairy, it means it doesn't have it in it. And then there's 4 words down below. Some of them are new, some of them just where the definition was up above. We have non-dairy, which we just went over. We have non-threatening. Now, if something's threatening, it's scary, it's coming at you. But if it's non-threatening you, it's totally chill. Everything's okay. There's nothing kind of scary about it. It's just normal. Non-fictional, we have to go back to what we know about reading and genres. Non-fictional is a type of genre, and it means not fake. Something is non-fictional, it's not fake. That's how we kind of remember it. Fictional means fake, non-fictional is not fake. And then nonverbal again. You're going to do the same thing where you read through it and you figure out which word best completes the sentence. And then whatever 4th word is left over, you write into your very own sentence. And we will try and make a note to make sure that we share some of those sentences together and go over prefixes and suffixes in group together. Do a great job. If you have any questions on those, let me know. But we're going to be working with prefixes a lot. So it's a great tool to start to keep for yourself, knowing what are some different prefixes and what do they mean and how do they change my word.